I had a customer call me today, and it's bad weather outside, so I was the only one at work, me and my coworker, and we were changing some tires on the front of our truck. One of the tires was 22 years old, so I felt like, keep us busy, we'll change the tire, be proactive, stay busy. Well, our secretary was out, and the phone rang. So I decided I was going to answer the phone, which I don't normally answer the phone because I'm busy. So I decided it's rung 3 times. I'm going to go ahead and answer it. So I pick up the phone. The conversation went a little bit like this. He was like, y'all did some work for me. Couldn't tell me how long ago it was. Told me the area. And in my head, I'm like, well, I haven't done a job there in about 2-3 years. So that's kind of how far back I figured that the job was. And he proceeds to tell me that he lives 2 hours away. His mother's 94 years old, and this well is at his mother's house. And we had did work on the well. Apparently we put in a well liner, and ever since we put in the well liner, they've been getting really bad, heavy amounts of white sediment. And he has to drive 2 hours in order to change his mother's water filter every week. And then he proceeded to tell me that he needs me out there as soon as possible to look at the well and try to understand what's going on. From there, he started to undermine me and say that something on the lines of, so you don't warranty your work. You don't stand behind the product you sell and the work that you do. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't even know what I did for you. You can't even tell me what I did for you. So I can't stand behind that. Like, I just don't know. So then he goes down this rabbit hole of, do I need to get the county involved? Do I need to call the health department and have a health inspector come out here and inspect this work that you did and the quality of water that you provided my mother? And I said, absolutely call the health department and have them come out there, and have them come out there the same time that I come out there. Because that's not going to fly with me. The health department is going to be on my side. They're not going to side with you. They're going to tell you what you're supposed to do and what needs to be done, and then you're going to be forced to do it. Whether or not you like the price of whatever it is that's going to cost to fix whatever problem that you have. So far, I haven't been able to get an honest answer out of it. So then I take the phone inside my office. I go sit down at the desk. I look through the backlog of the last year of the jobs that have been paid. His name and his mother's name is nowhere in my files. So I explained to him that we're old school, nothing is on a computer, everything is written down. I'm gonna have to go into the, past couple years boxes and look for their information. So in looking for their information, I don't find anything. So I take down his information and I explain to him, the way things are going with business. We're extremely swamped. We don't really have time for, already existing jobs. That new construction is really, really booming, and that's kind of what's been sucking up all of our time. Service work, we give that out to my brother and other companies who are, more so available to do the job and competent enough to do so. Now, I get his information. I tell him I understand his frustration. At this point, I still think that we've done this work. I get all the information. I tell him I will be out to his house within the next 2 weeks. Probably will come out on a Sunday, and he would like for him to be there and me to be there. So I said, okay, I'll call you at least a day in advance or early that morning, whatever. I'll let you know that, hey, I can come out, and then he can meet me there. So he was okay with that. Everything was good. So I hang up the phone with him, and it got to me. I don't like people telling me that I don't stand behind my work. Anybody on my channel knows what kind of work I do. Y'all know what kind of person I am. And if you haven't watched some of my videos, you'll get a pretty good grip on the type of person that I am. Then I I go back, I keep changing the tire, but it's on my mind. And my secretary, then she arrives. I explained to her in a short bit, please look up this gentleman's information and please, show me the receipt so I can understand what we did. From there, she goes inside and then the phone rings again. And I hear the caller ID and it says his name. And I go inside because I really want to know what type of conversation is being had. So I listen to her talking to him. Everything seems to be okay. And then she hangs up the phone. When she hangs up the phone with him, the first thing she tells me was, we've never done any work for this man. We've never done any work for his mother. We did work for one of her friends. We installed a liner for one of her friends, and it fixed their well. And now the mother wants us to do the same thing to her well that we did to her friend's well. So he was undermining me and kind of threatening me and telling me that he was going to call the health department because we don't stand behind the work that we do. I never even worked for you, man. Like the audacity of some people. Then, while he's on the phone with my secretary, he says, are you familiar with this said church? And my secretary goes, no, sir, I'm not. He goes, well, my son's a pastor there. What does that have anything to do with this? What does your son being a pastor at some church in the middle of the country have anything to do with this job? I just don't like it when people bring Jesus into the conversation. That is a big old red flag right there for me. I love the Lord just as much as the next person, but don't use him as your knight in shining armor to jab people in the back like that. That doesn't work for me. So she tells me that he said on the phone that he had given me some misinformation about the well that he is inquiring about, that we did not work on the well, that he was confused, that it was some friend, but he would still like to hire me to come out and look at this well and service his well and figure it out. So I obliged, and I'm still gonna go. I'm gonna figure this out. But most importantly, I want to meet this man. I really do. I want to meet him. I want to look him in the eye. I want to shake his hand. That's really what I want to do. Because it takes a whole lot for somebody like me to get upset. And I don't get upset about a lot of things. But some of the things that this man said to me on the phone, and when you own a business and you work with the public, that's one thing. But you have to keep your composure. You really do. You got to keep your composure. And I did. And my coworker Justin, he was just like, he knew that there was something up. He just knew something about that conversation because he couldn't hear what this gentleman was saying on the phone, but he knew that I was out of sorts because it pushed all the wrong buttons inside of me. It really did. And I just don't understand the audacity of some people. Because he said, we did this. We put the pump in. We did the liner. We did this. And they're still having trouble. No, we didn't. We didn't do anything. We haven't even worked for you. Some people. But that's part of it.